I'm Gaurav Gupta and I welcome all of you to BYJU'S Exam Prep, the most comprehensive app for all the entrance examinations, including CAT and other MBA entrance examinations. Now, friends, here at BYJU'S, we provide our aspirants with end-to-end preparation so that they can achieve your goal. Now, I'm Gaurav Gupta and I once again welcome all of you with a new session for which all of you must be waiting for. All right. Now, friends, as we all know that MHCT examination is around the corner. The exam is starting from tomorrow and it will be conducted on 3 days, 16th September, 17th and then 18th September. All right. Now, obviously, we must be very much prepared with each and everything as far as this examination is concerned. So we must have studied quant. We are studying it since so many months. We must have studied quant, verbal, logical reasoning, analytical reasoning, each and everything. We must have taken a lot of mock papers up till now. Okay. So we must have basically devised one or more strategies that we are going to implement in tomorrow's examination. All right. Now, friends, it is important to basically remember those strategies while entering the examination hall. What happens is we make a lot of strategies and the time we enter the examination, the time we start the exam, we almost forget each and every strategy. All right. So I once more time tell all of you that whatever strategy that you have made for yourself, please do keep it in mind so that you'll be able to implement it at that particular moment. Okay. Now, in this session, I'm going to tell you some of the basic strategy which you must follow in the examination hall so that you can increase your score. All right. Also, I may be giving you answers to some of the queries that are there commonly in the mind of aspirants. All right. So let's start this session. All right. So I'll first of all quickly start with the highlights of this examination. All right. So these are the highlights. So mode of the examination, obviously online, number of questions 200, duration will be 150 minutes. The type of questions will be MCQs and we get 5 options for every question. Now the major important point is there is no negative marking. This must be taken care of that there is no negative marking. All right. Because if I look at other examinations like CAT, Symbiosis, Xavier's, Narsimunji. So Narsimunji doesn't have negative marking, but other examination that we commonly take, they have negative marking. So one good thing for us in this examination, no negative marking. All right. Now let us have a look at the sections and the time that we need to be spending in each of these sections. All right. Now this is one of the major important part of our strategy. Now I have made these 4 sections which you will normally see in MHCT examination. So logical reasoning having 75 questions, abstract reasoning 25 questions, VARC and quantitative aptitude 50 questions each. All right. Now friends, in total we have 150 minutes. Okay. Now I'm totally against dividing these 150 minutes in 4 sections. Okay. So at the initial moment, what I'll do is I'll not divide these 150 minutes entirely in these 4 sections. So I've just given you an idea. These are the not the exact time limits that you may follow. You may devise or you may change these timings as per your convenience, as per your strategy. Okay, so I'm just giving you a rough idea about how many minutes that we need to give in each of these sections. Okay, so talking about logical reasoning, there are 75 questions, so I can spend first of all 40 minutes, and in these 40 minutes, I can maximize the number of attempts. So the areas in which I'm more comfortable, let's say I'm comfortable in blood relations, I'm comfortable in direction senses, I like the questions of input-output sequences, so I can devote my time in these questions. Okay. If I'm a person who thinks that verbal reasoning is a little lengthy, so I may not spend this part of 40 minutes in those questions. Okay, so it's totally up to you, your comfortable area, spend these 45 minutes and try to maximize your attempts. I'll be telling you how to do that. Abstract reasoning, 25 questions, around 20 or a little less number of minutes, so 18 or 20 minutes will be fine in the questions of abstract reasoning. Question aata hai to hum kar denge. If I'm able to observe the pattern, I can easily answer it, but I'll not be getting stuck in any question of abstract reasoning. Now VARC and Quant having 50-50 questions each, I can spend 30 to 35 minutes in these two sections. Okay, so VARC 30 to 35 minutes and then again Quant 30 to 35 minutes. Agenda will be same. I have to maximize my number of attempts. All right. Now, if I'll take these many minutes in 4 sections, I'm exhausted with around 120, 125 or maybe 130 minutes, and I can keep these 25 minutes approximately as the buffer time. Now, what is the use of this buffer time? Now, this buffer time can be now divided in the section which I think is on an easier side, because I have already spent 120 odd minutes in the entire examination. So I'll have an idea about the section in which there are a lot of easy questions still left. Okay, so now I can spend these 25 minutes in 1 or 2 or maybe 3 sections in which I feel that there are some easy questions still left. Okay, so this important buffer time should always be kept in an examination which does not offer you sectional time limit. My dear friends, we don't have sectional time limit in this paper. So take advantage and save these last 20-25 minutes so that you can go back and spend this much amount of time in the questions which are easy. All right. Okay. Now, what should be my sequence in which I should be attempting these sections? So we have 4 sections. So this is again a big question. This is again a big question as to which section should be attempted first, which section should be attempted next, and so on. Now, friends, if you will ask me, I'll say that it is not the right time now to change your sequence. All right. So I hope all of you must have invested good amount of time. Okay. You must have attempted a lot of mock papers and you must have devised a proper strategy for yourself. So don't listen to anyone. So if somebody will tell you that, okay, first of all, you should be attempting quant, first of all, you should be attempting verbal, and then logical reasoning. No, please don't listen to them. Okay, so you have made a strategy for yourself, you have made a sequence for yourself, and if that strategy has worked for you up till now, then it will definitely work tomorrow. All right, or maybe day after tomorrow, whenever your examination is. Okay, so please now don't change the sequence of the sections. All right, so it doesn't matter at all if I'll start with my strongest area or if I'll start with my weakest area. It's absolutely fine. Just work on the strategy about the sequence of sections that you have made for yourself in these mock papers. All right, fine. Now let's talk about some of the key points that I should remember tomorrow in the examination hall. Okay, and believe me, friends, if you like this strategy, if you implement this strategy, then I am telling you that it will certainly increase your score. Okay, I have an experience of more than 14 years in this industry, and with this experience I'm telling you now the point that I'm going to tell you now. These will work more when you don't have a negative marking and when you don't have a sectional time limit. Okay, now these points will be helpful in these two areas. All right, so let's talk about key points to remember. Also, you may take out a pen and paper in case you like whatever I'm telling you and you want to implement it. Please note it down on the piece of paper. Look at all these strategies tomorrow, or in case you have made a strategy for yourself, also you can note down all these things on a piece of paper so that you don't forget to revise them tomorrow morning or just before your examination, so that whatever you have decided, it will be implemented at the time of examination. All right. Okay. So let's talk about some key points that I should remember. Now, this is one very important thing. I should be attempting all the questions as they come. Now, you will tell me, obviously, I'm going to attempt all questions. No, my dear friends, yes, you are going to attempt all the questions, but I am telling you that attempt all the questions as they come. That means if you decide to leave any question, okay, so don't leave it unattempted, okay, and just mark a fluke simultaneously. All right, I'll tell you why. Okay, so just wait for a few minutes. I'll tell you the logic behind that. Okay, now generally we think that we'll mark all these unattempted questions okay, in the last 5 minutes. Fine, it's absolutely fine. We can do that. But I am telling you, one thing must have happened with all of you, that you have attempted the paper, you started the paper, and in the last 5 minutes, you forgot to mark all those answers, all those questions which you have left unattempted. So I'll give you a reason why we should be doing this thing. Okay. So first of all, understand what I'm saying is mark all the questions as they come. So if you know the answer, if you have solved the answer, obviously you are going to mark it. But in case you are unable to solve any question, still mark a fluke simultaneously and move to the next question. Okay. I'll also tell you why and how to do this. Okay. So first and the foremost reason is you may not get time at the end of the examination, okay? Or you may forget to go back and attempt all the unattempted questions, okay? In the heat of the moment, last 5 minutes are very crucial, okay? So in that heat of moment, you forget to go back and mark all the unattempted question, and that will be a huge loss for us. Okay, generally out of 200 questions, we have around 50-60 odd questions which we leave unattempted. Now 50-60 questions, my dear friend, even if you'll mark all the options, all the answers as A, and out of 50 questions, even 1/4 or maybe 1/5 are correct, then it will be a plus 10 for you. Okay, so this is the reason. Next is, friends, this is an online examination and paper will get submitted automatically after 150 minutes. So let's say at the last moment, in the last 1 or 2 minutes, you are marking all the answers and your time is up and you are unable to mark all unattempted questions. So what will you do at that time? Okay, again, it will be a loss for me. All right. Also, it will definitely save a lot of time if you will keep on marking the questions which you have visited at the first time you decided to leave those questions. So if you'll mark them there and then, okay, then it will save your time. Now you'll ask me, Are yaar, if I'll mark all those questions simultaneously, then how will I know that on which question I have to come back in that buffer time? Don't worry, I have taken care of this situation as well. All right. So let's see how to basically implement this. Okay. So I'll give you a very practical example, right? I'll give you a very practical example. So let's see how to attempt this, how to implement this. Now, according to me, we have in general 3 types of questions in the examination. Okay. Now, my way of dividing this question today is totally different. So type 1, the questions which we are going to solve in the first attempt. So I have read the question is fine, the question is simple, the question is not lengthy, and I got the answer. So definitely I'm going to mark an answer for that question. Over. This was type 1. Now type 2 question are the type of questions which I feel that, okay, the questions are fine, average difficulty level, but they are going to take a lot of time right now. So I'll leave that question right now and I'll come back to those questions. Fine. So this is type 2. I'm not doing them right now, but I'll do them later. Okay, if time will permit. Type 3 question are the type of questions which even in my dreams I'll not attempt. Okay, so I've read the question, I entered the question and I decided भाई ये तो question बहुत difficult है, so let's leave this question today. I'm not going to attempt this question. All right. So now let's talk about how to implement the strategy. Okay. Now my agenda is mark all the questions. Okay, mark all the responses as and when they come. Okay. Now type 1 question, I've already marked the answers for them, so no need to even bother about those. Type 3 questions. Type 3 questions, I have decided I will never come back to these questions even if I have time towards the end of the section. Okay, the question is difficult. I've spent like 2-3 minutes on the set of, let's say, arrangements and groupings, and I feel that, okay, fine, I'm not going to come back. So now for these questions, you can mark a fluke. Okay, now whichever option you will mark, it's absolutely fine. There is no hard and fast rule that I should be marking A, B, C, D, or E. But when I mark flukes, I always mark the same option, either all A's, all B's, all C's. This is what I do. Okay, so I mark all flukes on the same option. So type 1 is taken care of already because I know those answers. Type 3, I'll never come back. So it's important to mark these questions right now because later on it will take time. Now type 2 questions. Type 2 questions, I will come back on these questions later, but I have opened them on my screen. So what you can do is you can mark these answers. Let's say mark option B, and also listen to this carefully. Also mark these questions for review. Okay, so there is a button which you will click. So mark for review. All right. And then these questions which are marked for review, they will be highlighted with a different color in the grid, and these questions will be separated from the questions which you don't want to come back to. All right. So mark an answer for these type 2 questions, mark for review, and then move ahead. Keep doing that. Now, towards the end of the question, if you are unable to come back to these questions, then they will be automatically considered. Yes, friends, they will be considered. You don't have to remove that mark for review. Okay. So you can leave those questions as it is, and the paper will be submitted and these questions will be counted. All right. So this is how you can implement this strategy. Now going ahead, the next few things is, do not divide the entire 150 minutes in 4 sections like I have told you earlier. Always keep around 20 minutes buffer time, because in these last 20-25 minutes, your efficiency will be at its maximum. Yes, it happens, friends. So in these last 15-20 minutes, you will be able to attempt a lot of questions. All right. Okay. Now, next few things are, attempt easy questions first and leave other questions. That is but obvious. Okay. Your ego should not come in front of you, or your ego should not come between you and the question. Okay. So if you think that, okay, fine, I'm good with time, speed, distance, I should be attempting each and every question of time, speed, distance. No, my dear friends, in a question, a very difficult question may come in the question paper. A very difficult question may come from time, speed, distance, which is your strongest area. Okay. So please leave your ego outside the examination hall and respect the difficulty level of the questions and keep moving. Do not waste time on any question. All right. Fine. Also, if the questions are lengthy, okay, the question is bulky, then try to leave it and you may come back to it later. Because a bulky question, let's say there is a huge story in a question of quant. Okay, it happens. Sometimes the question is bulky. So obviously the time you're going to read that question, okay, will be considerable. So you can leave those bulky questions for the time being and then decide and come back to those questions later on. Now, one more important thing, do not enter the questions which will come in sets in the last 10 minutes. Okay, like the questions of maybe arrangements, input, output, grouping, which will come in set. All right, the questions of reading comprehension. So don't enter these questions in the last 10 minutes. All right, try and attempt only independent questions in the last 10 minutes. Okay, fine. Also, if you get rough sheets, make sure that you are doing the rough work separately for the questions which comes in set. Okay, so like while doing the rough work, so make sure that if you are solving the questions which comes in sets like arrangements, groupings, input, output, you are doing the rough work for those questions. So try to do that rough work in a separate sheet and mark that, because it may happen that you are unable to solve this question right now, you decide to come back to it later. So this rough work can be referred later on when you decide to come to this question and leave it right now. Okay, so preserve that rough work for especially the questions which comes in sets. All right, friends, fine. Now finally, last few tips, okay, that you should be taking care of. Please do not lose confidence during the paper. It happens that I'm solving the questions and like at a moment I'm unable to solve 5 or 6 questions simultaneously. Okay, it happens. Or maybe 10 questions. I have left these 10 questions unanswered, or these 10 questions were difficult. So please don't lose your confidence, because if you are unable to answer some of the questions, then it means that the difficult questions have gone now Okay, and you have filtered the easier questions which are coming ahead. All right, so obviously in an examination there will be some difficult questions and there will be plenty of easy or medium level questions. So if you have encountered these difficult questions right now, okay, then that means the wave is over and you will now see easier ones in front of you. All right, and finally, please do not waste time on any question. This is the most important thing. Okay, we enter a question, we don't realize the amount of time we have wasted on any question. Okay, so keep moving ahead, keep going on, solve easy questions first. That's it, that's all the best, my dear friends. Okay, so we'll hope that all of you will do good tomorrow in this examination. That's all from my side, friends. All the best.